In this world, people are all about labels. They want to know who they are, who their friends are, and how they all interact in this crazy world. Because really, without labels or an identity, who are we? What are we? Are we anything? Kind of a frightening concept, right? Well, in ancient medicine, which is what this video is going to be about mostly, I'm going to talk about the relationship between fire, yang, and water, yin, the polarities of yang and yin, but also the 5 aspects of the human psyche, or the spiritual, mental, emotional, spiritual aspects of a person's mind related to Eastern medicine. You know, everybody really wants to identify themselves as something, right? It's no wonder that a lot of my most popular videos on YouTube are, what's your element type, right? They want to know about the personality types. Those are the highest ranking videos, okay? All about water element, fire element, earth, metal, you know, all that kind of stuff. But really, we're very complex. We have many aspects to our being, and aspects to our psyche. And I'm going to talk a little bit about Eastern medicine, the philosophy behind this. You know, we all know our brain is a computer, right? But it's interesting because in Eastern Asian medicine, they didn't really put the focus on the brain so much. They didn't talk about it a lot at all. They put the focus on the heart mostly, and considered the heart organ very much connected to the mind with something called the Shen, okay? Now, Shen, from a broad aspect, has to do with fire mostly, okay? And there's a relationship between fire and water. Water is the essence. It's the, you know, Eastern medicine, they call it the Jing. It's our biology, our genetics. It's basically our foundation, like our battery life ingrained in us, in our body, our constitution. And then Shen, the fire, is our connection to the cosmos, to more in this world, okay? Not just the physical, but our connection to more. So it's the relationship between these two things that makes us an extraordinary human being, if you think about it, because we're not just our genetics, and we're not just this spiritual being, right? We're both connected, and that's self-alignment. And there's something called bringing down the Shen in our person. The Shen can be considered our presence in life, our vitality. When somebody has a lot of Shen, a presence in their Shen, they almost, they illuminate, okay? And it's almost like their connection to higher power, whatever you want to call it, connection to the cosmos. They're illuminating these gifts out in the world, okay? And whether you want to call it purpose, but it's a very magnetic thing. Whereas if the Shen is disturbed, or there is no Shen, somebody will be very void of presence and vitality. They won't really seem alive in life, or going through the motions. So that's why it's so important to have this fire and water connection in life. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about, you know, this is the overarching Shen, but then there's like a mini Shen, which is one of the part of the psyches. If you've seen some of my other videos, I talk a lot about the 5 elements, fire, earth, metal, water, wood, from the Taoist traditions element, okay? Not the, you know, other cultural traditions or astrology necessarily, but this is ancient Chinese medicine, Eastern medicine, okay? And, you know, the philosophy behind it was that there's 5 spiritual aspects to a human being, okay? And they're connected to the 5 yin organs, or zang organs of the body, and the elements. Okay, so we'll go through them real quick. So first one, Shen, connected to the heart, connected to the fire element. And Shen is, like I said, our vitality, our presence, connected to the mind in life. It's interesting how, you know how I said that in Eastern, ancient Eastern medicine, traditional medicines, they didn't really place a lot of focus on the brain, but more so the heart, and this connection between the heart and the mind, okay? Almost like the heart coherence, right? If you're into that kind of stuff and heart alignment, it's almost like they knew something that this organ of the heart is much more important than only the computer, the brain. So it's kind of like heart-centered living versus just logical living, that sort of thing. So it's very interesting, okay? So yeah, Shen, heart, fire, has to do with our mental creativity, our ability to just bring something out in the world out of nothing. Our presence, you could call it our consciousness, what brings us alive in the world, okay? And then we have Yi, which has to do with the organ of the spleen and the earth element. So Yi is about thought. It's what gives us our ability to concentrate, to memorize, logic, reasoning in this world. All right, and then we have Po, which has to do with the lungs and the metal element. And Po is referred to as the corporeal soul, linked to our instinct, our physical body, our animal instincts in this world. So it's more physical based, human based, has to do with the human senses a lot. Ji has to do with the kidneys, and the water element, it has to do with our willpower, our will, our drive to pursue things in life. And then the Han has to do with the liver and the wood element. And the Han is our ethereal soul. So this is almost looked at as the Western concept of the soul, the spirit, what enters us at birth and leaves us at death. Okay, so this has more to do with our intuition, with like extrasensory perception, has more to do not just the physical body, but beyond that, our soul, our spirit. So these were the 5 spiritual, mental, emotional, spiritual aspects of the psyche of a person that ancient traditions believed we all had. And if one of these is off, meaning you could have an element that is out of balance per se, then you may have trouble with, say, logic and reasoning in your life. You may have trouble with, you're just going through the motions. You don't know who you are, or you don't even recognize that you don't know who you are because there's a void in you, right? It has to do a lot with people who have mental illness or disturbances in the psyche a little bit, or you don't have the drive. That could be a deficiency somewhere in the water element or the kidneys, right? You don't have the drive to pursue things in your life, or the inability to have or to recognize or acknowledge intuition, right? Very closed-minded, rigid kind of thinking could be issues there in the ethereal soul, okay, in the Han. So it's very interesting, and this plays a concept in the overall picture of us as human beings. So I just wanted to take it one step further, and we're thinking of the fire-water connection. Yes, we have our biology. Yes, we have our essence. Our life battery, okay? If we wear ourselves out physically by overworking, by overtaxing our adrenals, then this is going to become deficient in a sort of way. And at the same token, if we are struggling in one of these areas of the psyche, okay, because something's out of balance, either physically, emotionally, it's all connected. This, because of the connection, is going to eventually affect this, okay? So it's like the spirit's affected, then the body is going to eventually be affected. If the body's affected, you're taxing it, then the mental side of you, the mind, is going to be affected, okay? So I just wanted to bring your awareness to the relationship in a more simple term, I guess, of just the fire and water relationship, and how water puts out fire, right? If fire's all over the place, so you need water to put it out. But you also can't have just water like flooding and stuff. You need heat. You need something to dry it up, right? You can't just have nighttime. You can't just have daytime. We have both, right? Yang is the breaking of day, and then yin is going to be nighttime. Those are constants in this world. We're always going to have night and day, always going to have these constants. But it's through our emotions where the Shen is affected, where the Shen comes out, okay? It's through our interactions. It's through all these other elements, you know, earth, metal, and wood, where the interactions happen, okay? Where it's affecting everything else in your life. So anyway, I hope this was helpful. I hope this was interesting for you. Just wanted to bring your attention to it today. If you have any questions, let me know. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for more videos on Eastern medicine, self-empowerment, all kinds of cool stuff for you. And I try to put out a new video every single week if I can. So hit that like, subscribe button, and I will see you on the next video. Peace out.